nothing really surprisingly crazy happened. Yes, it is a big ass red candle, but in a year from now, well, what am I saying? In 2 months from now, we're gonna look back at that red candle and we'll be like, what happened? I don't know. I don't remember what happened there. Welcome to a new week for the Sol Brothers with my dear friend Eno and myself, Simon, where it is our job to throw you into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to take you on the latest and greatest so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, I am just recovering from a cold. You have a very nice, cool t-shirt. We've all survived the weekend. What the fuck happened?
Bro, we have so much to unpack, man. I mean, you had you had like 2 days off. I mean, you got sick and all that shit. Like, that's obviously not a good vacation. Basically, while you were gone on the weekend, a lot of shit went down, literally down. Obviously, we started the weekend with a huge red candle. The Friday basically closed with a huge dump on all altcoins. Went down up to 90%, which is insane. Some of these wicks on some of the kind of, let's call them blue chip altcoins, which would like Uniswap or like some of these bigger altcoins. Some of these wicks went as low as printing a new low for the whole cycle, which is like a 2 year thing right now. So we literally saw new lows from cycle lows really on some of these altcoin pairs. Like some altcoins like Polygon and these they were kind of dead already. They fucking went into nowhere land. So there was a lot of tension going on in the market. So we had that going on. Bitcoin touched on the 100K. I mean, not really, but it went quite low. Solana on a hyperliquid went as low as $135, while on other exchanges it went down to around 100, let's say 70-ish. Which is also interesting because we saw some of these exchanges actually struggling a lot during this down phase. So Binance had a few orders that didn't get filled. Backpack got a huge shit show, a huge shitstorm on Twitter that we can unpack as well. But TLDR, it was a wild weekend, and a lot of liquidations happened, all-time high in crypto liquidations, 10 times more, than FTX crash, 10 times more. And that's only the number we know of. There were probably much more liquidations actually going on. So yeah, I don't know about you, but it was definitely, we definitely have enough to talk about. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So what was really annoying was I haven't taken a break in about a month. It's just all weekends, weekdays. I mean, like just, working on various things. And so for the first time in a while, I decided like, okay, like we're going to take this weekend off. And like my wife and I called it the wifey weekend so that, we could actually spend some quality time together. And
We
literally
like that as well.
I start the vacation and I can't help it. I got widgets on my phone, right? And everything is like -50, -60, -70. I'm like, what the fuck? So of course I checked Twitter and then I got stuck into a rabbit hole. So like I kind of know what happened this weekend, especially around Friday, but like yesterday and Saturday are a bit of a mystery to me. So I am very much looking to your TA this week. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Wintermute is apparently still okay. Everyone was saying in the very beginning that a major market maker had blown up, and we're pointing fingers at like, is it Crypto.com? Is it Wintermute? Like, who is it exactly that got liquidated from all their positions or had to pull liquidity? But anyway, we're going into the comfiest part of the podcast, and I have much to learn, and my heart is open. So Simon, let's get right into it.
I'm just opening along on FlashTrade, because it starts printing. It was probably badly timed. Oh, actually, it didn't work. Very good. Transaction didn't go through. Because I put too much Sol. Because actually it was really badly timed. You see, I almost longed the top here. But I think we're going up right now. Obviously, right now we're in the 15-minute chart. Not even. We're in the 1-minute chart. So we're on FlashTrade on beast.flash.trade, where you can long up to 500x. And usually we start off our TA section with a little trade here. So I'm looking for a long entry because it is look, let me put, before I start the actual TA, let me tell you, prices are moving up again from the low. It starts to look bullish. The question now remains, is it a fake out or not in the midterm of everything? But right now it looks decent. So that's why I'm want to long this kind of short-term trade here, because the goal is to close this trade while we're on the show today. So ideally, I catch a moment where where we can make some profits, because last time, when I did that, it didn't work out. I actually got after we closed the live stream. So we got to do better today. So I give it a little bit more time. And I'll head over to my chart. So, you asked what happened. Let me tell you what happened. Honestly, if we're looking at this chart here, and there's a bit of clutter going on, I agree, because of all my Elliott wave marks. I can clean up a little bit in the back, but I didn't want to remove too much from this whole parallel kind of trend lines here, because as you can see, nothing really surprisingly crazy happened. Yes, it is a big ass red candle, but in a year from now, what am I saying? In 2 months from now, we're gonna look back at that red candle and we'll be like, "What happened? I don't know. I don't remember what happened there. There's like some dump, but no one is gonna remember that candle." Right now on the weekend, it feels like, ooh, biggest liquidation in crypto history. We're all going to zero. Yeah, but then you zoom out, which I always say, right? It makes sense to zoom out. And what is there anything that kind of jumps into your eye when you look at this chart right now? And there's you can say something wrong, don't worry about it. But is there anything that kind of jumps into your eye when you just look at this? Without all my crazy numbers here, don't care about them. But just looking at this kind of setup here, what is jumping in your eye?
I mean, what jumps to me is that, and I can't help but look at the lines, the pretty lines that you've drawn. But there was a resistance level. We didn't hit like a lower low. If anything, it's a higher low than before. So like,
Yeah.
really not all that concerning if you look at the macro.
Exactly. So what is concerning is the time period, which is very short of this drop here. So that was a bit crazy. But usually also when that happens, that signals that it's not a trend change. It is.
Mhm.
It's also not a black swan, but something in between. So something happened in the markets that made the market to drop exponentially quickly, quicker than usual. But there's not a trend change, because we're finding resistance, we're turning around back to the upside, and the trend is up. Okay, so here, Simon, the perma bull is back, and I'm going to tell you why I'm still bullish on Solana. And I'm not telling you to buy it, because I can't give you financial advice, but you can do whatever the fuck you want. So we touched this trend line that Eno was referring to now for the third time, and we made a perfect touch of it. Like, we didn't even break through it. Even if we break through it, I would still give it a chance, because we have another low here at $125. That is like the last resort, kind of for when I would start favoring a bear market, maybe even if we have a weekly close below some of these key support lines, right? But we didn't even cross it, right? The channel. Okay, so we didn't even cross the channel. So spot on. We have a higher low. Once again, higher low, higher low, higher low, and even in between we have higher lows. So and then we pushed all the way up to $250. And now if we look at the Elliott waves, even my green setup that I have on my chart here right now is still valid, which tracks a wave 1 here from the start of August until the recent high we had on $250, and then a retrace down all the way down to $170, where we touched that trend line. That is still a wave 2, because we didn't really substantially cross this last level for wave 2 on the Fib scale, right? So based on Elliott waves, we can still count this as a wave 2, which can now lead to an impulse to the upside in a wave 3, which keeps the green scenario alive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which also keeps the yellow scenario here in alive, which is kind of not the macro scenario, but somewhere in between. We have this 1, 2 setup, a third wave to the upside, then we have a fourth wave kind of down here, and now we're in this fifth wave to the upside. Still kind of valid, but this scenario is probably almost invalidated because of the depth of this wave. But then we still have the macro view here. All that started all the way on when was that? That was Monday, 7th of April, right? So we have that scenario, which basically tracked the 1, 2, and then a diagonal in the third wave, which we're still in. Okay, and that scenario is also still alive. So I'm waiting for this third wave to play out, and if that plays out, we can still wait for a fourth wave retracement and a fifth wave in a new high. So there's still a lot of air to the upside. That's what I'm saying, especially here on the daily chart, right? Now, going back to the trade, I think yeah, we pumped a little bit here, so we kind of saw a little bit of an upside movement. We went to, what is this? It's 199. Okay, so we're trying to cross that psychological level right now. That's where we are. We right now, while we're recording this, we're trying to cross the $200 mark on Solana. I think we could. So let me just open a small long. Let's see if that transaction is going through now. I think earlier I tried to do it with my full Sol, which is obviously not possible because you have to have some Sol on your wallet. But here we go. We have a position live now on Flash Trade. We opened it with $50 and the position size is $6,500. Why? Because it's 125x long. That brings us into a pretty small margin. So, okay, let's just not look at it for now and see what happens when we tune back into here. How do you feel about all of this? Looking at the markets, looking at the charts. I think it might give you some peace even to look at the charts and hear from me that it's not too crazy what happened, right?
Yeah, I don't really worry too much about the price specifically because we didn't hit a new lower low. If anything, we hit a higher high, and in fact, there's this one account that we all love. It's a man, the myth, the legend, Soul Big Brain, and over the weekend, what he posted was. I see a nice soul dip, I buy. It really is that simple. And of course, this is not financial advice, but I would like to remind people that the last time that Soul Big Brain did this was posting screenshots of purchases was when Soul was $17, which was quite a sight to behold. I think he printed tens of millions of dollars off of those trades.
Yeah, that's why he can full port a milli now.
Yeah, right.
He's literally like, what is this? This like within 3 minutes he full ports $1 million into Sol, right? So yeah, and he's not the only one. That's the thing right now. People are buying at these levels. People are buying.
Yeah. And also, I think it's worth noting that he was using Titan Exchange, and Titan Exchange has actually been making quite a bit of noise this weekend. I've just noticed, like, I don't have a specific tweet that I'll bring up, but it seems like people are now farming Titan, especially since they're offering very competitive rates as compared to Jupiter. And don't get me wrong, Jupiter is the OG meta aggregator on Solana and is still doing wonderful work. But now there seems to be a little bit of a competition between Titan and Jupiter. I wouldn't have guessed a couple of months ago that Titan would have made so much progress this weekend, but they're definitely making a lot of noise in the timeline.
It's heating up the competitiveness. And I think your wording might be even a bit wrong because you're saying people are farming Titan, but that's like technically they're not even farming Titan. They're just using it because it actually has better rates. So they're not farming anything. They're just using the product because it is better. So
that's actually true. That's true
in their eyes. So and yeah, some like Cyber in the audience right now says competition is good. Absolutely right. Jupiter has been the kind of almost the monopoly on swaps on Solana, really, right? Which is a big shout out to them, and they're still printing most of the money in revenues when it comes to that. But also Jupiter went on a slightly different strategic kind of journey by venturing out in all kinds of product lines. And Jupiter these days is is intending to build almost some sort of crypto super app, right? Plus JupeNet, which is another huge strategic angle that Titan is obviously not following to. I know for a fact that Titan team is hyper focused on doing exactly what they're doing right now, which is spot swaps. Nothing else. Like they don't have on their roadmap anything else right now than improving spot swaps. So no perps, no mobile app, no wallet, no whatever. The only thing that they will roll out in future updates are things like advanced limit orders, DCA options, TWAPs, like basically better ways to spot buy, right? Because that's the product. And keep improving the router, because right now already their own router, which they're using, is outperforming the other routers, which Titan is also tapping into more than 70% of the time, based on statistics. So interesting product to look at right now, and we'll cover Titan potentially more once they start talking a little bit more about their, can I say the word? Yeah, token. Because it's going to come at some point.
We can get Titan on here. We can interview him next week if you want.
Yeah. Maybe we should. I think I'd be curious to hear a little bit from them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd actually would love to get DeFi Pancakes onto here. because he is also a bodybuilder. Actually, he's more of a. I mean, there's a difference between bodybuilders and weightlifters, right? I mean, you guys both lift weights, but like bodybuilders are kind of more
Sure.
show ponies, whereas like weightlifters are more like more weight. I don't give a shit.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, no, that dude
Yeah.
is a weightlifter. He's fucking massive. You guys would
hell
have a
yeah.
lot of fun. You guys would have a lot of fun in the gym. I promise you.
Let's go. Let's bring him
Yeah.
on. Let's have a conversation. But you know, last week we saw a big flush in the market, but it didn't break Solana, did it?
No, it did not break Solana.
From what I've seen, we're doing pretty well, aren't we?
Yeah. So the network is holding up very, very well under stress. As we've talked about in the beginning of this podcast, we had the biggest liquidation in crypto history. So we're talking about $19 billion in assets, which Simon has pointed out is literally 10x more than FTX. And there's also probably some aftershocks that we're unaware of. But so the total size of liquidations and or money lost with people with open positions is probably much bigger. That being said, Solana, Simon was performing. Solana was performing absolutely phenomenally during the crash. Sad circumstances, but in terms of just the tech itself, the tech is good. Raw transactions spiked from 6 to 10,000 transactions per second, which is freaking nuts. These are like real transactions, by the way. And then utilization reached up to 60 compute units per block. Which is also great because we know that in the past, the compute units per block was around, I believe, 30, if I'm not mistaken, which then got increased to 60, which then got increased, or maybe it was 40. But anywho, it certainly was less than 60 compute units per block. And now I think the compute units per block are 100 CUs, if I'm not mistaken. So it's actually really good that quite recently we had SIMDs that increased the amount of compute units per block. And the medium transaction fees remained quite low. I saw a tweet, but I'm not quite so sure if this was just a shit post, if it was for real. But it was saying that transactions on Ethereum mainnet were costing like $1,000. Can you confirm or deny? Did you hear that as well?
I can't confirm or deny, but I can imagine. So I haven't seen the actual announcement about that or some data, but I'm sure it happens on Ethereum.
Yeah,
in times of heavy traffic, 100%.
yeah.
It's just yeah.
It was a totally retweet. So someone had tweeted that transactions on Ethereum were costing over $1,000, and then totally retweeted it with like I think a exploding head emoji.
Right, as he does. Yeah, it just makes sense, right? Like Ethereum mainnet is already expensive. It is expensive when in normal times, but in heavy traffic that really spikes like that, it gets extremely expensive to initiate transactions there, which can be a pain in the ass because if you do have money flying around on mainnet and a flash crash like that happens and you do actually want to get out, you have to accept these prices. You don't really have a choice. So,
Right.
But I guess most of the capital these days is, especially if it's liquid or trading, it is not on mainnet. You have to kind of keep that in mind as well. Yeah.
But still kind of ridiculous that we're accepting a world in which like that's the transactions that we're paying. And our intern Nick is sharing a lovely little link from ooh la la, what is going on over here? Holy crap! Okay, so I'm going to share my screen really quickly. Thank you so much to Nick, who's operating in the background over here. So looking at this tweet from Mary, who's the founder of Loopscale, she said at the peak, Solana TPS was about at 3,200 TPS with sub penny fees. Base was 500x that cost, and Ethereum was 10,000x that cost. So trying to look at what exactly that transactions per second. Obviously, Solana is blowing everyone out of the water. And then median fee log scale. So ETH. Okay, so median fees is around $100. That's a lot, my friend. That's quite a bit. And Solana, you can see, never goes past a penny. So the tech is good, Simon.
It's working. It's not just talk. That is something that a lot of people forget when they criticize Solana or put it in perspective with other blockchains. They forget that we're actually doing the things that the protocol is intended to do. While a lot of these other blockchains, they say, yeah, we have the lowest fees and we can process this amount of TPS. but then they don't do it because no one is there to do it. They don't have activity, right? They don't have traffic.
Right.
So if you test them in a lab, sure, but I want the car to fucking drive on the racetrack. I don't want it to be in a lab, where you can bump up the horsepower and be like, yeah, this is the fastest car in the world. I want to see it actually doing it. And
Right.
Solana is the car on the racetrack. These other guys are all in the fucking lab doing their tests, right? So
Right.
yeah, as long as we don't get overtaken by another car on the racetrack, which would be, I don't know, Sui, whatever other chain is out there, I want to see them do it on the racetrack, right? Then we can talk. Until then, it's all, I don't know.
My dad used to work at a restaurant, and he would
Mhm.
tell me all the time to never buy the most expensive thing on the menu. And the reason for that is he's like, the most expensive thing on the menu, like the chef does not cook it all that often, maybe like twice a day, maybe 3 times. But your basic pancakes, bacon, and eggs, I mean, he's cranking out 200, 300 of those. And so,
That's great.
just like something can look really good on paper, but then like when you bring it out as like, let's say a product on table. This is a horrible metaphor, Simon. Why did I even start with that? I think I just wanted to talk about my dad.
I mean, I love the story though. Like,
Yeah.
actually, it makes no sense. Like, I learned something. I don't know if I'm
No,
gonna if it's
I
related to
just mean
Solana.
that. I just mean that with men. You know what? Fuck it.
You're like, I can't make this happen. I can make
No,
this work.
I
But,
can't force this
ladies and
metaphor to work.
gentlemen, if you're sitting in the restaurant, just don't order the most expensive meal, because that is right. Like,
Well,
there
yeah,
is
because they're
some
not cooking
wisdom
that
in this.
all that often. So it's like it's the ingredients aren't going to
Yep,
be as fresh. The chef is not going to be as skilled making it. And I just realized midway through that
I do
metaphor,
get that.
great story, but has nothing to do with what we're talking about. The race. We should have stuck with the F1 metaphor. I don't know what I was doing.
Since we're talking about unrelated topics right now, BYD's Yangwang U9X just broke the record with 496 kilometers per hour as a production electric car. Electric car making almost 500. Can you imagine sitting in a car that goes 500? Fuck my life. I've seen, maybe I think I've experienced 300 on the Autobahn in Germany, but that's kind of the top I've experienced. 500 is like a fucking rocket. Anyway, back to Solana. Thanks for all the unrelated news. First of all, let's pull up my screen here and look at this beautiful green candle that has brought us into profit here on our trade.
Hey,
So we're already $15 in profit, but we're going down again. So I think we'll keep it open. We might set a stop loss just to, usually what I do is I check how much fees we paid. We paid $3 to open that position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stop loss at 19760. 19760, which gives me back my $3 from the opening the position. And then I'll be kind of P&L neutral, even if it goes south. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is, by the way, the best trade you can open is a trade with a rather high leverage. Okay, it's not financial advice, right? A trade with rather high leverage where you catch actually good moments. So in my case, I should have caught kind of this level here, 196 something. So I should have waited for this kind of retest here, right? Then you catch that level with a high leverage. You make the price go up within 5-10 minutes so that you're out of your P&L positive. And then you set a stop loss at entry. So the worst thing that happens is you lose your fees, or if it's above entry a little bit, you're even neutral, like I did right now. So the worst thing that happens is you lose the fees from opening a trade, but nothing more. And the best thing that can happen is it just runs indefinitely, right? So that is a trade where you can sleep at night without worrying. Without that stop loss, being like the worst trade is basically a trade where you're underwater, where you have no stop loss, and the liquidation level is creeping closer and closer, and you don't know where it stops. Then you go to bed and you're like, fuck, I'm going to wake up tomorrow with $2,000 less in my bank account.
And also, as with regards to flash trade, the tech is also very, very good. And speaking of good tech, Simon, so we've been screaming about internet capital markets for the last few months, but it seems like over the weekend, perfectly timed with this fucking flash crash, a really beautiful story unfold. And it actually starts with a man named Crew. So before we really even talk about the news, let's talk about the man. So who is Crew, Simon? He's very intimately involved in both of our lives.
Yeah. I mean, I know Crew since more than a year now. I've been working with a company called Goldfish on Solana for longer than that, because Prado is a close homie who's running Goldfish, and Crew's part of the Goldfish team, and he came into Goldfish as a front end designer. So he's a really skilled, just UI UX designer, really, right? And we've been working with him for Solana ID for my company for more than a year. So every month we give him a shitload of work and we annoy him with getting this done and why is it not done yet. And he's always, he's always delivering. He's always doing all our 50 revisions after we're not satisfied for 20,000 times. Shout out to my co-founder who's really good at getting things perfect, which can be a pain in the ass for anyone we work with, but I love it. So this is kind of the background on Crew. And to close the story off, Crew came, I think in August or something. He approached me and he was like, "Hey Simon, just want to let you know I have my own project. I'm working on Umbra right now. It's a private transactions protocol on Solana, and it seems like I'm going to put a little bit more time into it. So just giving you a heads up, if work is a bit slow with Solana ID right now, if anything is happening, keep that in mind. Either you look for someone new already now," he told me, or we at Goldfish will, fill my spot with someone to support a little bit, so I get some weight off my shoulders. So he was warning me already a little bit that there might be influx of work for Umbra. So, and now something crazy happened, which you're going to get to in a bit. But what do you want to comment on here?
Yeah, man. So I mean, Crew has been working not only on Solana ID, but also the conference that I held over in Korea. It's okay, Nick, you can keep that up. But also the conference that I was working on in Korea. The entire look and feel of the conference was controlled by Crew. Even some of the Soul Brothers branding, I know that Crew had a hand in that. But now, holy fuck, Simon, he raised $150 million. That is internet capital markets in action.
I don't even know. I saw it and I was like, how? Like, where's the money coming from? Like, where's all this money coming? That's a huge raise. It's a pre-sale
Yeah.
of a token with more than $150 million. Some of these wallets, the top contributors down there in that screen, they just chipped in 8 milli, 5 milli, 4 milli. They just clipped in millions of dollars in that random token. Obviously, it's not a random token, but it's just like one token on Solana next to a million others. So, what the fuck? How do you make sense of this?
I mean, so first of all, we have to take a step back. There's a lot of meaningful parts of this story. So Umbra is building privacy for swaps and transfers, and that's something that everybody in crypto wants: privacy of their transactions. Because unlike what they say in the TV shows, like I'm going to send you a transaction in Bitcoin, it's going to be completely anonymous. It's like, no, Mr. Show Writer, you don't understand how blockchain works. It actually lives on the blockchain forever. And so privacy is a core tenet and something that we seek actively for in crypto. But in Solana, like we've had a couple of attempts, to build this technology. And the team that's building it, or has been the most prominent in building it, is actually a German team now working on a privacy protocol called Axiom, right? And it's more of an infrastructure play. And I feel so bad. I forgot. Oh, their first company was called Elusive. So Elusive was technically kind of like the first version of Umbra in a sense, but not the same team. But they realized that for whatever reason, they weren't finding product market fit with Elusive. I honestly think it has a little bit to do with market timing, because at that time it was the bear market. There wasn't a lot of activity on Solana. I think Elusive would actually probably do a lot better on Solana today. But anywho, they transitioned from being a B2C play to a B2B play, where they're going to enable other companies to build on top of Axiom so that they can build their own privacy solutions. So some of the use cases that they think of is like medical, or maybe even military, or DeFi, areas in which personally identifiable information does need to be obfuscated. But Umbra feels like, to me, the resurrection of Elusive, but built by a different team on top of Axiom. And to further complicate the story, like how did Umbra raise all this money? They did it through MetaDAO, right? So like MetaDAO, everyone knows, is the Futarchy platform. They still are. It's a new form of governance that uses market-based decision making to decide whether or not you do or not do something. It's not simple token voting where you vote yes or
Mm,
no. It's very much a game of guess the price. And if you
mm,
vote yes, then you're guessing like how much this is going to affect the economic value of the token. And if you vote no, you're going to guess how much it's going to affect the economic value of the token. And whichever economic value is higher, saying no to a proposal or saying yes to a proposal, is the proposal that passes. They have since, gone on to build on top of MetaDAO this ICO tech, right?
mm,
It's a token
mhm.
launch platform. So yeah, there's a lot of different parts of the story, Simon. I think that I'm probably missing some parts, or maybe you want to add a little bit more color. But essentially, Umbra is a privacy preserving protocol built for B2C on top of Axiom tech. They had a raise for their token. They were looking to raise about $3 million. They ended up raising $155 million, and they're returning $151 million. It could we can get into that. This story just it goes on and on and on. And they did it all through MetaDAO, right? So like I don't know where you want to start there. What part of this story is the most interesting to you? The fact that they returned $151 million, the fact that they're building privacy preserving tech. I mean, like all of it is just interesting.
Yeah, I think the decision. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the decision to return that money because as a founder, you're 1,000% oversubscribed, and you're like, okay, what the fuck do I do? Like, do I just collect that money, and then do like I need to, these people will get their tokens, right? It's a pre-sale, so that doesn't really work because if you collect $150 million at I don't know what the valuation was at the launch, but um, it's gonna dilute the valuation as well. Like you have to give all these people tokens. I don't have the math in my brain right now. I don't know if it would have been possible even, but it would have been a down only kind of experience from there because all these people who are buying, they do it for quick buck, right? Usually in these platforms, so they want to sell as quickly as possible again to get their money from the pre-sale back. At least realize the initial back, So you get your
Mhm.
initial back. So that was kind of not an option. So what they did was, okay, we're just going to return as much as possible and keep as little as possible. So they decided to keep 3 mil, which is I think a really good funding round for a project like Umbra that can help them now to have like multiple years of runway depending on how much they want to crank up their costs, right? But 3 million is a good amount. And now, if you want to pull up my screen, look at the chart here. We can now look at a chart that looks pretty good, honestly. The Umbra token is so far going only up. There's no big kind of downturn here. Obviously, it went down a lot on right at the Friday crash when everything crashed, but then it recovered super quickly as well. So they do have a 67 mil market cap right now. Yesterday they had around 50. They do have 9,000 holders. They have a volume of $15 million right now, 24 hours. Around the launch, they had a 24-hour volume of $70 million, which is quite good for a token that's not listed anywhere. So it looks all pretty well right now. And then last but not least, the story checks out because as we know, Mert has been starting to bull post Zcash for unknown reasons. I think he just had a dinner with the founder and they did some sort of agreement that it will be a good idea to do that. So obviously there must be something in the background happening, but I think also Mert really believes in privacy, obviously, otherwise he wouldn't do that. So Mert kicked off this trend again that people talk about privacy, because they usually don't. At least in the past couple of months they didn't, and now it's a thing again. And then Umbra launched, right? So I think the timing was really really good because we don't have Zcash on Solana. Obviously, it's a different token and a different chain, but we now have Umbra. So I think this whole narrative helped them as well. So together with like privacy being the core narrative right now, plus this kind of crazy pre-sale momentum they built up, is now resulting in an up-only chart because 3 million minus the amount they raised equals the amount that hasn't been able to deploy into the token equals the amount that is now seeking deployment into the token. So all the money they didn't raise technically is now finding its way into the chart. That's what I'm thinking. So that's why, bottom line, it was a really good decision to return all that money to then just bring it back to the open market.
Well, they actually also bought something that money can't buy, which is instant credibility. Because nothing signals
Yeah.
trust in a team more than I could have taken $155 million from the market and I gave back like 95% of it. Like that is,
Yep.
I mean, what else? I mean, because in a world in which in an industry in which everyone is just trying to make a quick buck, this probably would have been the biggest and easiest cash grab of all time. And done.
Yeah, true.
I mean, if he really wanted to just be like, oh, thanks for the money, we're gonna and there are teams that do this all the time, right? Like they'll raise a whole bunch and then they'll do fuck all for like a year or
Yeah.
two, and then they'll say like, sorry, didn't really work out, but we just paid ourselves about like $10 million in salaries, so thank you very much for the pre-sale. I'll talk to you later. So
Yeah,
this is a really strong signal that they're serious about building something that's real, that they want the token to perform well over the long term. It's just trust in the token and trust in the team. So and any single, I mean, it just buys a lot of goodwill that you just can't get otherwise, and goodwill is in very short supply in this industry. So major congratulations to Crew. It is one of the rare examples of a team that's led by designers. In fact, I saw a tweet that said during all this pre-sale craze that he was on a call with 8 different designers. So if I'm not mistaken, they have like a huge design team from the get-go, all powered by India. So it's kind of like, yeah, $3 million is going to be more than sufficient to pay for that team. And since they're relying on Axiom to provide the privacy preserving tech, they can focus more on the user experience on top of Axiom. So this is kind of, it feels like a match made in heaven. This is great. They can rely on German engineering, but then use Indian design. So
True, yeah, that's a good way to put it. Not gonna lie. Bullish.
Yeah, very bullish on Umbra. And again, internet capital markets in action. Crew, congratulations to you and the entire team. This is a huge fucking win. Speaking of more wins on Solana, this next piece of news is about Axiom Exchange. And apparently, Axiom has surpassed $300 million in cumulative revenue in just 263 days since launch. So in a little under a year, they've printed $300 million, which just goes to show that not only is Solana the home to internet capital markets, Solana is also the unicorn chain. There are billion-dollar businesses that are being built here today. This other little stat here, which is interesting, is it took 73 days to grow from 100 million to 200 million and only 63 days to reach 300 million, which just means that revenue growth is accelerating over time. So congrats to the Axiom team. I don't really know anyone who uses. Do you use Axiom?
I've checked it out just because of curious, but I'm not an active user. But yeah, it is definitely one of the leading kind of exchange to just trade. Really, a lot of people use it. They do have a lot of demand, I think, also from just bots and stuff, that use the tech of Axiom. So there's like people always forget that in traditional markets, the majority of traders are not humans anymore, right? They're bots, they're algorithms, they're just programs that run on machines that execute trades. Why? Because they're really good at that, and they work 24/7, right? Welcome to the 21st century. So Axiom also has more than half. I think the last number I saw was like 70% of the people that use Axiom heavily are not people. they're algorithms, they're bots, and they make a huge amount of volume, right? So I think that's where a lot of this traffic comes from. And while internet capital markets grow, while we as an ecosystem get more liquidity, while we're launching more tokens, while all these stats go up, Axiom benefits directly from that. And it is crazy for me to say that it is a Solana-based crypto startup that has broken the world record of how much revenue you can make in what amount of time.
Oh, they've actually broken the record for it?
There's no other startup in the history so far that has been making $300 million in 267 days or what it was. It's for the first time in history.
That's okay. I didn't even realize that. I think that the problem with working in this industry is that the numbers are all insane. Like they're literally all insane.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like I get desensitized to how much money people are making on this chain, right? And where I'm just like, I'm like $300 million. Like that's just like another. What is it? It's another Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's 300, bro. Like if you break it down to days, you start realizing right? Because what did it say in the post? They made like 100 mil in 60 days.
Yeah,
Right?
about 60, 70 days. Yeah, 70 days, 73 days at first, and like 67 days next. So it's just like, yeah, they're fucking printing, man. Over
So
$1
if my
million a
math is
day.
mathing, exactly. All right.
Yeah,
And that is insane. Like, so if you hear 300 million, you're like, okay, it was a big amount of money. Are you sure? I guess there's some companies that do that. And then you're
right.
like, they're just making a milli per day, like a 20. The company goes to bed and then they wake up and they just made almost half a mil.
Yeah,
So it's fucking insane. So that's why we have so many launch pads and so many dexes and so many trading related apps on Solana, because there's a lot of money to be made.
yeah. If you can just crack your entry into that market, I mean, because everyone has to have a different angle, right? You can't just like
Oh,
copy
it's
paste
tough.
what someone else is doing. Yeah, yeah. You have like
It's
so. I
tough, yeah.
guess what Axiom did is to target specifically the algo bots, and
Yep.
so yeah, they have quite a bit of volume with those folks. They make a lot of money off of those folks. Congrats and fuck you. Um,
Exactly. We don't like that you make so much money. I mean, just share the pie a little bit with all of us peasants here. But trading is not the only thing that happens on Solana. There's other companies that are interested in launching their shit on Solana that are completely in different corners. I feel like from in the internet, and one of them is this next player. What did we just experience here? Who came to Solana and launched
yeah.
their protocol or their
Um,
product?
So it's really almost every day you hear about different protocols, expanding from Ethereum to Solana. It's very rare that you get announcements where actually what's going on is Sorare is moving to Solana. So Sorare is a sports betting platform. Specifically, I believe it's fantasy football, and they have like a bunch of other digital sports that they want to support going into the future. But Sorare, in collaboration with Solana Foundation, is now moving all of their fantasy activities over to the chain. It's like not a replacement, it's an upgrade. So at
Mm.
Sorare, we're crafting cult collectibles that unlock the best experiences in the world of sport. To produce them, we built the best portfolio of partners in sports game. Oh, so it's not just soccer, it's also
Mm.
NBA, the Premier League, La Liga, EA Sports. So
Yep.
it's actually quite a few different leagues where you can do a little bit of sports betting. So that is great. And the goal in the next few weeks is connect to the broader crypto ecosystem, be tradable across external exchanges, blah blah blah. Okay, but now we have sports betting on chain. I mean, we've already had sports betting on chain. So here it says real life fantasy football, but I realized that they've expanded beyond football. They also do NBA as well, and they do multiple football leagues. So that is very very cool.
Mm. Yep. And the thing is, they have existing user base. So I don't know the number exactly, but they do have a shitload of users. And for them, nothing really changes. Like their cards, their gameplay, everything stays the same for them. Um, if you're into crypto, it unlocks a broader platform utility, solve payments, more trading flexibility. Because yeah, they're bringing. It's RWA, right? They're bringing real world assets on chain
Yeah,
in the collectible corner of this part of the niche,
yeah,
with basically trading cards that unlock perks with them and benefits. You can play with them, you can win rewards, you can just trade and exchange them for dollars. You can even move them into other apps, they say. And what I find really interesting is why Solana, obviously. And Sorare team says that Solana is the leading public blockchain designed for speed, scalability, and openness. You're damn right. And this isn't just a tech upgrade. We'll reach more managers and offer a better experience for our existing community. Yeah, I think what's happening here is just they chose the chain that has the best kind of tech to begin with and the best distribution, which is both Solana, and that's why we're winning. Because some of these chains, they have maybe better tech than Solana. You can probably make points for that, but they don't have the distribution. They don't have the attention. And then there's chains that might have better distribution. Actually, there aren't, right? So Solana is kind of winning on both these topics. So that's why we have teams like Sorare coming to Solana. Bullish.
yeah. And speaking of projects coming onto Solana, there's also a new entrant into the field. We have Zcash in the form of Encrypt.Trade. So what the fuck is? Oh, actually, did I get this news wrong? No, this is correct. So inspired
Yeah.
by Xerox Merch, we built a bridge that lets you send funds from Solana to Zcash privately with near protocol, near intense. And Solana Zummer is here. So first of all, what the fuck is going on with Mert? Can we just start with that? Like, what have you been
I don't
noticing
know.
on Mert's timeline, man?
I just, like I said, when we talked about the Umbra topic, he just started out of nowhere to bold post Zcash. Now he's a Zcash KOL. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him in Singapore, we talked a little bit, but we didn't talk about Zcash. From what I've seen, is he literally had dinner or something with the Zcash kind of founder, and we don't know what happened. But after that,
he got
he turned
Z-pilled,
into a
man.
KO. He got Z-pilled, yeah. So shout out to the Zcash guy. I don't know his name, but whatever you said, it's working. And it's definitely pumping. Mert is now pumping Zcash, and the token is performing quite okay since then. And now I think Encipher built a bridge, not a bridge, but they built a way to buy Zcash privately using USDC or Sol on Solana.
Yes. By the way, my cat would like to feature. You got anything to say, my friend? No? Okay. He doesn't want to be on camera. So I guess I'm really interested to see how the Zcash narrative plays out on Solana. We've actually seen a couple of instances of other chains becoming a part of the Solana narrative, because like obviously, like if you are starting a new L1 or you're trying to get traction for your L1, you're going to go to where the users are, and so you're going to try to vampire attack, which is fine. That's all part of the game. Users from other chains. And so, like famously, I think Jesse from hello, hi there, buddy. You want to help me report what's going on with? Okay, so he's part of Meow Chain. So for example, for Sui. No, Jesse from Base, I think, was trying to hire, but no, you don't want to. Okay, I see. He doesn't like Jesse. So Jesse from Base was trying to hire out of the Solana ecosystem for a while, famously, and was saying like, well, if you've been working on Solana, you know how to acquire users, like come work over at Base. Sui also for a hot minute, like when NFTs looked like they might come back, there was quite a bit of NFT activity over on Sui, and obviously they were targeting Solana audience. Hyperliquid has done an amazing job, convincing users on Solana to actually move to Hyperliquid for all their perps trading. And now Zcash, it seems like, is also doing something similar, but now with privacy tech. Obviously, it's in our best interest for all of that to be consolidated within the Solana umbrella. But like we should go into every situation with eyes wide open and know what our competitors are doing, right? So in this case, like it seems like Zek is trying to build inroads into Solana.
Yeah. Bullish. Let's see how that goes. I mean, I have no idea where this is going to lead us, but the only thing I can say is that privacy is yet again a new emerging narrative. It has been a narrative already in the past, but it kind of went quiet a little bit, and now we're back.
Yep.
We're back.
We also have a new feature released by our friends over at Solflare. It's the risk overview for the Solana Solflare extension, powered by RugCheck XYZ. So you get real-time safety checks, clear warnings, smarter swaps. I know that sometimes we can get literally tens of thousands of tokens created in a single day, if not hundreds of thousands, like over 100,000 tokens created in a single day. So it can be quite difficult to figure out like which tokens are legitimate and which ones are not. And so now partnering Solflare is able to do this real time risk warning analysis for tokens before you swap into them. So that's quite good.
Yeah, it's powered by RugCheck, isn't it?
Yes, correct. RugCheck XYZ.
Yeah, they've been around since a while, providing their tech, even integrated to things like CoinMarketCap and so on. So has been reliable for most people as a warning signal to the wrong tokens. They look at some basic on-chain metrics. If the liquidity is locked, it's a good sign. If the liquidity is deep enough, it's a good sign. If the freeze authority is disabled, it's a good sign. So they look at just some of these markers on chain, and if it all adds up, they give you a good score on RugCheck, and then you're good to go with your token. But if something doesn't add up, they'll give a warning, right? You'll still be able to execute the trade, but at least you get a flag, you get a warning, whatever. All this is for the sake of improving user experience and making people more safe in the crypto universe out here. And Solflare is helping out. And while we're talking about Solflare, real quick, guys, check out the Solflare card, which is coming very soon, and the Solflare card campaign is still running right now for a bit longer, I think. So you still have time to sign up to it. If you sign up to it, do it on solflare.solbrothers.com, because there you'll get a little points boost if you sign up through our link. Just type in solflare.solbrothers.com, solbrotherspot.com, sorry, and we'll put the link in the description as well, and you'll land up on their landing page, on their waitlist landing page, where you can then go ahead and complete your KYC, which is important because once you did, you are entering a prize pool of $100,000, which they will raffle amongst all the people that signed up to the Solflare card, which is coming soon.
Yeah, they have $100,000 worth of prizes. $50,000. Half of it goes into the top, I believe, 20 people who have referred folks into the program. So it's just by score. And the other 50,000 is a raffle. So like that's the two ways that you can earn and get your share of the $100,000 to get people to sign up for Solflare, Solflare card. One thing you should also know is that KYC process is already open, and so. Yep. If you're looking to get your card instantly, then what you should do is just complete your KYC now, so that when it's available, you can just get access to the card like that. So congratulations to Solflare. Obviously, that's something that they announced in Crossroads early this year, and now we're seeing that vision turn into reality. And next up, we have a governance proposal by SNS that we actually talked about last week. And specifically, this governance proposal has everything to do with what's called CJK names. So CJK stands for Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. Yeah. So what they want to do is essentially adjust the pricing for Chinese, Japanese, and Korean names. And the reason for this is because obviously, like most people know this already, but like you can buy .sol domains not only in English, but also in foreign languages. This is not just Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. This also is like Arabic, like literally any language in the world. You don't just have to use Roman characters. And so the problem is that most CJK names are just 2 to 4 characters long. Specifically Chinese and Korean. I think Japanese can be a little bit longer, but for Chinese and Korean, like our words are quite short. We don't use very many characters to express what we have to say. So the pricing model for CJK names versus English names just like doesn't make sense, right? So the proposal is to make 2 character names $168, 3 character names $128, and 4 character names $48. So 1 and 5 character length domains, as well as other languages and emojis, remained unchanged. So the prices of other characters, at 1 or 5 characters remains unchanged. But we do want to reduce the pricing specifically for 2, 3, 4 character names to make them a little bit more affordable. Because like a 2 character name in Korean or Chinese is like so much different than like a 2 character name in like, let's say English, which would be like much more valuable. Yeah.
Is this going to change? Do you know if this is across all domains though, like the pricing, or is it only for if I use characters in Korean?
Yeah, it's just Chinese, Japanese, Korean. Yeah.
Okay. So I have to use these characters. I cannot do ed.sol or something like ed, like the name ed. I cannot do that for the same price because it's an English name, English character.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, but we're also coming to an end here, because we covered actually everything we wanted to talk about in my view. We did check out the trade on Flash Trade, so it got closed, by the way. So we got stopped out here on Flash Trade, which means I did lose like $3 ish on that little play around. We'll try it next time again. I won't touch the chart with that wallet now. I'll keep the chances for next time when we stream again with Sol Brothers, which is gonna be on Thursday most likely for the next week's latest and greatest, where we're gonna see what happened until then. So Thursday is gonna be another Sol Brothers live. And then you will also hear from us later today, probably, because we have a guest coming onto the show, which is the FDV, the Solana debt that has been making waves and noise in the Solana ecosystem. So we're going to talk to the friends from DFDV And we're going to do it live as well. So you can join this, or you can wait for the YouTube EP to drop. And if you don't subscribe on YouTube yet, then get the fuck out of here, or just click that subscribe button, because we want you to listen to Sol Brothers on YouTube as well. But you also find us on podcasts on Spotify and Apple. Anyways, we hope you're safe out there. We hope you didn't lose too much money, or ideally nothing, on that big flush we saw over the weekend. You might want to, use the opportunity to do the Sol Big Brain style accumulation now, sub $200. But you do you. Whatever you do, we hope it's going to work out. Until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you on Thursday.